Hey guys! I recently just finished the shrug. I can't wait to show you how it's done. So basically, I made a rectangle with a really long edge, and on both ends, I just sewed them up like this, and then they turned into sleeves. So the length of the rectangle is the 2 sleeves and my shoulder width. But I started the rectangle in this direction, and this, as you can see, is the arm circumference, which means this is the length of the beginning chain number. So this is the yarn I'm going to be using. As you can see, it is very thin, and to achieve that mesh effect, you're going to use something like this as well. A 5mm crochet hook, scissors, a yarn needle, some stitch markers, and a tape measure. So I'm going to begin with a slip knot. First, make a loop like that, and then pull this yarn through to create a loop. Insert your hook. Now I'm going to make a chain. To make a chain, yarn over and pull that yarn through the loop on your hook. When you chain, you want to chain loosely. So you're going to continue doing this until this chain can slightly stretch to 12 inches. And for this yarn, I have 29 stitches. This part is supposed to go around your arm, so you're gonna make sure it can go around your arm, near like the widest part of your arm. So as you can see, it can go around my arm like that, easily. And that's how you make sure this chain would work. If 12 inches is too small for your arm, you're going to increase this length by adding more chains until it does fit your arm circumference. If you need to adjust your chain number, make sure it's an odd number. So next, I'm going to start row 1. I'm going to chain 1 first. So the main stitch we're going to be using is double crochets in the second chain from the hook, which is the very first stitch of row 1. I'm going to insert my hook like that, yarn over, pull it through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So pull through 2 loops. Okay, so this is a single crochet. You can mark this stitch. So you put a stitch marker here in the top 2 loops. Like that. So that's the first single crochet. And then I'm going to continue to the next stitch. If I hold it like this, you should be able to see it. That's the next chain. So insert your hook in that 1 loop, yarn over, pull it through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So that's the second single crochet. The first row is just gonna be single crochets. So insert in the next chain, pull yarn up, yarn over, pull through 2. So you're gonna continue working like that to the end of the row. Just 1 single crochet in each stitch. Also, since this yarn is very thin and we're using a bigger hook, you don't want to pull your stitches too tight. You want to work all your stitches loosely. Okay, so now I have 2 chains left. I'm gonna work 1 single crochet in each of those as well. So that was row 1. This is the edge of the cuff. Now we're gonna start row 2. Row 2 is the repeat row that makes up the most part of the shrug. Usually you would chain 2 as the first double crochet, but here I'm gonna use the method I always use to make the edge straight. and it's also easier for you to join the edges together later. So I'm just gonna turn my work directly like that, and I'm gonna find my first stitch, which is this black loop. I'm gonna insert in both of the top two loops like that, and then I'm gonna make a single crochet first. So a single crochet first, and then you have two vertical loops here, these pink ones, as you can see. I'm gonna insert in the left one only, and then pull yarn up. Now I have two loops on my hook. I'm gonna yarn over, pull it through the two loops to make another single crochet. So this stitch is actually two single crochet stacked up together, and that makes up a double crochet because it has the same height as a double crochet. Okay, now I'm gonna mark this first stitch as well. I'm just gonna put the stitch marker in these two loops, the purple one here and the pink one. That's the top two loops of this double crochet. Okay, so after this double crochet, I'm going to chain one, and this chain would be sitting on top of the second stitch, which is this one. So I'm gonna skip this one, and in the third one, I'm gonna make a double crochet. So to make a double crochet, a proper one, not like this one, to make a double crochet, you'll yarn over first and insert your hook in the third chain here. So skip the second one, go in the third one, top two loops, yarn over, pull yarn through. Now you should have three loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first two, and then you have two left on your hook. Yarn over again, pull through those two to make a double crochet. And then you're going to repeat these two stitches, so a chain one and a double crochet. So next you're going to chain one again, and again this chain one will be on top of the next stitch. So you skip the next stitch and then go into the stitch after that, yarn over and work a double crochet in the stitch, inserting in the top two loops. So three loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through two, and then yarn over, pull through two. And then you repeat again, chain one, skip the next stitch, go into the next one, work a double crochet, so you're going to repeat this pattern and work your stitches all the way to the end of the row. Now I just finished a double crochet and I have two stitches left. You can see that one is one and that stitch is marked. That's the last stitch. So I'm going to chain one, skip the second last stitch, and then yarn over. In the last stitch, which is marked, insert in these top two loops and work the last double crochet. Okay, so that is row 2. So row 3, directly turn your work and make the first special double crochet. You can see that is the first stitch. You're gonna directly work a single crochet in the very first stitch. So insert your hook in the top two loops, work a single crochet like that. And here you have two vertical loops, one pink, one black. You're going to insert in the left vertical one and pull yarn up, pull it through one loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 again, and that is the first stitch. So take out this stitch marker and then put it here. So just these 2 loops here to mark this first stitch. So the first stitch is always a double crochet, and then from the second one, as you can see, we have a chain 1 here. In this chain 1, you're going to work a double crochet. So the second stitch is also a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the space, just like that. Pull yarn up, and then work a double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so now we have a double crochet over this chain 1. And the next stitch is a double crochet. Over the double crochet, you're going to make a chain 1. So you just work the opposite stitch. If it's a chain 1, you work a double crochet. If it's a double crochet, you work a chain 1. So you chain 1 and then skip this double crochet. That's the next stitch. And then in the next space, you work another double crochet. So like that. And then you just continue doing this. A chain 1 over this double crochet and a double crochet over this chain 1, but you insert in this big space. So continue working like that to the end of the row. Okay, so I already chained 1 here. That is sitting on top of this double crochet. And then I have a chain 1 here before the last stitch that is marked. So in this chain 1, I'm gonna still work a double crochet. So just insert in there and double crochet. And then don't forget you have the very last stitch here that is marked. And in the very first and the very last stitch of a row, you're always gonna work double crochets. So the last stitch, work a double crochet in it. Just insert in the top 2 loops and work a double crochet. Like that. Okay, so from here, you basically just repeat row 2 and 3. But an easier way to remember the pattern is just work double crochet in the first stitch and double crochet in the last stitch and work a double crochet over a chain 1 and work a chain 1 over a double crochet. So this requires you to be able to recognize the stitches, but it's pretty easy. You just need to be able to tell a chain 1 from a double crochet. Okay, so the next row, row 4, is the same as row 2. I'm gonna get you started on that, and then from there you can just rewind and repeat row 2 and 3. So at the beginning of the row, you just turn your work, don't need to chain anything, and like I said before, in the very first stitch, you'll always work a special double crochet. So you work a single crochet first, and then you have 2 vertical loops, one black here, one pink. Insert in the left vertical loop, which is the black one for me. And pull yarn through, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And then mark this first stitch. And then, as you can see, the next stitch is a double crochet, which means you work a chain 1 over it. Otherwise, you can just think the first repeat row, which is row 2, you start with a chain 1. So chain 1 over this double crochet, and then a double crochet in the space below the chain 1. So there are multiple ways to help you memorize what stitches to work next, but basically you're just going to repeat row 2 and row 3. And like I said, you can always rewind back to that part if you don't remember the pattern. So I'm just going to repeat row 2 and 3 and keep working back and forth like that to work up this panel. And always make sure to mark your first stitch, so when you work your way back, you know which stitch is the last stitch to work into so that you don't miss any stitches. Your stitch number of each row should be the same as your beginning chain number. So for me, that's 29 stitches. I'll always have 29 stitches for each row. So I'm gonna go ahead and work this panel up. I'll have many rows to work, so I'll see you later. So I kept working this piece until when I put it on myself like this, I can cover both of my wrists. I worked 86 rows, including the very first single crochet row. This thing now measures about 60 inches. So after row 86, which is the last double crochet row, I'm gonna work one last single crochet row. And for this row, you're gonna chain 1 and turn. For this single crochet row, you're gonna work one single crochet in each stitch. In the double crochet, you're just gonna work in that stitch. And in the chain 1, you're gonna insert in the space and single crochet. So work in the double crochet, then work in the space. And then you continue working like that to the end of the row. So this is the chain 1, so single crochet. And in the last double crochet, work a single crochet as well. I don't have a stitch marker here, but that's the last stitch. And then I'm gonna chain 1. From here, I'm gonna continue sewing up the seam. So I'm gonna join the edges together. Before you join the seam, you wanna put it on like this and mark where you want the seam to stop. And after that, make sure it's symmetrical. So from the bottom of the sleeve to the stitch marker, you have the same row count for both sleeves. I'm just gonna find a spot roughly, and you'd also rather pin it lower than higher, because if it's too much, you're gonna have to undo it later. Now I'm gonna join one sleeve. When you join, make sure your rows line up. So the very first row is a single crochet row. For the single crochet row, I'm just gonna insert in that first stitch. And then insert in the last stitch of the single crochet. Yarn over, pull yarn through both of them. And then I'll pull that yarn through this one on the loop to make a slip stitch. Like that. And then I'll just have double crochet rows. For the double crochet row, I'm gonna work 2 slip stitches in each row. So 2 slip stitches for this row, 2 slip stitches for this row. And the first one I'm gonna insert in there. On this side, insert as well, and slip stitch. So that's the first one. The second one, I'm gonna work in the space. So insert in the space, slip stitch again. And the next row, I'm gonna insert in there. And there. Slip stitch. And then one more for this row. Just gonna insert in the middle of this double crochet. Middle of this double crochet as well. And slip stitch. And then I'm just gonna repeat this and continue working 2 slip stitches in each double crochet row and work like that to the first stitch marker. When I get to the stitch marker, I'm going to chain 1 for now. I'm gonna leave a long tail just in case I need to sew up the seam more later. But I'm gonna cut my yarn here. I'm gonna put a stitch marker in this loop so it doesn't come undone. And then I'm gonna get to the other sleeve. Make sure you do this from the same side. So like that. I'm gonna attach my yarn here and sew up this side. I'll show you how to attach the yarn. So again, you make a slip knot. I showed you this at the beginning. And you're gonna insert in the very first single crochet. You're gonna insert in the single crochet row. I'm gonna insert in this corner. And then here as well. Put this loop on your hook, pull it through, and then chain 1. Corner connected. Now I'm going to do the same thing. So again, 2 slip stitches in each double crochet row. So after sewing both seams to the stitch marker, I put it on and it looked like this, but the seams are not high enough. So I kept joining a few more rows. And it looks like this now. So after that, you can just chain 1, cut the yarn, pull it through, and fasten off. To fasten this off, I'm gonna use a yarn needle. And I'm just gonna go through the seam here to hide this yarn tail. And cut it. And then you're gonna do the same thing for the other seam. This is the right side, so you need to turn it inside out. And also don't forget to fasten off this one as well. And after that, this shrug is done.